Now imagine if your customers didn't just buy your product, but they actually sold it for you. And I know that sounds crazy, but that is exactly what Apple did. Back in 2015, when the iPhone 6 came out, Apple started a campaign called #ShotOnIPhone. And they asked everyday people to share their best photos taken with the iPhone. And then these photos were shown online on billboards, magazines, basically all around the world. Today, in 2025, 10 years later, we're going to talk about how it helped Apple as a business and how it is still relevant today, 10 years later. So let's get into it. This campaign began in early 2015 when Apple told its users everywhere to share your best photos taken with the iPhone with #ShotOnIPhone. So they were going to pick 77 photos from 24 different countries, and then they showed them everywhere, like billboards, magazines, and on social media especially. So the idea was extraordinarily simple, but it was extraordinarily smart. Keep in mind, this was not really an influencer-based program. This wasn't specifically for well-lit or studio-based photos. No, these are everyday people taking everyday photos and just basically showing what the iPhone is capable of doing. And keep in mind what this is doing. This is incentivizing people to try and take their best photos, because people, of course, wanted their photos to be displayed on all these places. So they were actually trying their best to do so with the iPhone. So it's almost like a challenge. So people were literally trying to take the coolest, best photos with the iPhone. And what is that doing? That is people who are good at taking photos using your product to take the best photos. Apple had their customers showing the benefits of their product through the lens of their customers. This campaign really gave people an opportunity to show what the iPhone can do, and people took that opportunity because this campaign drove 6.5 billion media impressions across, of course, the photos that they displayed themselves on their own Instagram, like Apple posting on their own Instagram, and that includes other people around the world using that #ShotOnIPhone with iPhone photos. 6.5 billion media impressions. And on Instagram alone, 23.8 million photos used #ShotOnIPhone, which is a lot of photos. 23.8 billion. And through this campaign, how do you think people start viewing the iPhone? With almost 7 billion media impressions, that means, guess what? A lot of freaking people are seeing this. 6.5 billion. There's 8 billion people in the world. That's crazy. And impressions is not the same as reach. Impressions are the amount of times people see it. So if I view something 20 times, that is 20 impressions. Reach is the other way, where it's like it reached one person no matter how many times I watched it. So 6.5 billion media impressions. Like I said, what do you think people start thinking of the iPhone as? When they see this many people sharing photos, talking about the iPhone, showing its capabilities, the iPhone became the phone for great photos. If you wanted a phone that was good at taking pictures, you naturally thought iPhone first. The question, that's the goal, of course. The question is, did people start thinking iPhone first? The answer is absolutely. Sales skyrocketed for the iPhone 6 and 6S. This is a quote from growthbucks.com. The campaign supposedly contribute to an approximate 14.9% increase in iPhone sales in that year, which is incredible, especially when you talk about Apple being a billion-dollar company. 14.9% increase in sales. That is how you market a product. Apple won a bunch of awards for this campaign as a whole in the early days, and Apple essentially had this superpower in their hands where they can have their customer telling the story. Like I always say this, but it's a lot better when someone else is talking about your product than if you talk about your product. It doesn't hold the same weight, because of course I'm going to say good things and show good things, but if customers are showing good things, that is all another potential customer needs to know. We talk about having a lot of good Google reviews on Google. For an example, these are a bunch of reviews in a way. 6.5 billion media impressions, almost 24 million photos shared with this hashtag. Those are almost, in a way, reviews, because saying, look at what this product can do. That is extraordinarily powerful as a unit of success. 23.8 million photos shared. And in the early days, a lot of the stuff we just talked about was in the early days, but after 2015, the Shot on iPhone campaign did not stop. It absolutely kept moving. Apple kind of upped it. They started making short films, music videos, even full-length movies shot on an iPhone. which is such a good way to build upwards. Because yeah, it originally started very raw, very consumer based. Like, you go make this, basically take the phone and go make something, giving them the power. But now they're saying, wait, look at what we can do when we really try to turn up the notch and really show what this thing can do. And if I heard, oh, should we go watch that movie? It was shot on an iPhone. Like, I don't even really have to see or hear what the movie's about, but that intrigues me in and of itself. An everyday phone that we all could carry can shoot this way and this important of things, short film, music videos, big projects, all on iPhone. So they started upping that. Instead of just the raw consumer base, they said, let's see what it's capable of. So famous artists like Olivia Rodrigo, Harry Styles joined in on this, and every new feature the iPhone came out with, cinematic mode, all these different modes you could shoot on, they would drop media around it. That is another great way to hammer down. You know, we know how important it is to speak about the benefits of our product and getting those in front of our customer. But when in this way, you can show the benefits in such a captivating way, that is a unique way to frame something. Like, we all try to show the benefits, especially if you're in sales or anything. You try to sell them the benefits. And when you're able to create something that is engaging, that is interesting, that in and of itself, something that wants to be consumed, like music videos, people want to consume that. And then it turns out it's shot on an iPhone. You're watching it for the media, but finding out it's shot on a product you can have will, of course, raise your curiosity and make you, in a way, consider that product when you're going to get a new phone or when you're searching to switch from Samsung to iPhone. This is something that makes you think that much deeper into it. Like, if Olivia Rodrigo can shoot a freaking music video on an iPhone, maybe I should try this thing out. And in 2025, the campaign still lives on. Apple mixes those like more professional videos with still real user content. Like, if you went on their Instagram right now, you will still see hashtag shot on iPhone, and it's just amazing, beautiful pictures that people take on their iPhone. So even the original idea is still alive and well. That in and of itself proves that, like, if an idea is good, it will live on. It will truly live on, because now they're not blasting hashtag shot on iPhones like they used to do, like they did, but now it's just become a thing on its own. It has breeded its own little community and a little culture on social and just in the world. When you look at this, yes, Apple is I think they're evaluated at $1 trillion company. I, as a marketer, of course, I try to extract something out of this campaign. Like, why was it successful? It's kind of hard to relate to such a huge, ginormous company, but I think all these successful campaigns that we talk about, we can extract something from them. And in this one, I like to think that let your fans be a part of the story. Let your fans join in. And in a way, like, not being so focused on your product in the sense, because these photos that people were taking, the photos were the product. The iPhone was the tool. And basically, what's that version for your brand or for another brand? So letting your customers tell the story, be part of the storytelling, how does that look in other businesses? Now, I'm going to kind of riff off the top, like what I could think off the top of my head. Let's use a food brand, for example, because this was an idea that we dabbled with and still might do, so I'm not going to say any brand names, but this brand had different flavors of product, okay? They had different flavors of product, and we're playing with this idea of letting our audience decide which flavors can come to light. Letting them decide. Because guess what? If we let them decide, they are that much more likely to try something. Even to the point with, if you're not part of that decision making, if you're a consumer and say, hey, this fan voted or fan tasted flavor is being sold because the fans wanted it, it makes it that much more intriguing and becomes a whole campaign in and of itself. And you can really drive with that. Like, what did you guys want? Oh, this is what you want? Here, try it. Basically saying this is what most people want. Give it to them. Give it people literally what they want. And I think that will build on itself. That is something we're playing around with, to the point of even socially driving in the sense of like a vote. On X, you can do votes. On Instagram, you can do like a poll on a lot of these platforms. Even having a sense of real life to it, where it's like a certain amount of people of like hardcore fans get to come in and try our test products, and based off the test it gets voted, and that could be a whole bunch of content out of that in and of itself. But that world of having your customers playing in the storytelling brings you that much closer to that customer, because quite literally you're working with them to bring a product, and that is what can build trust with a brand. So that is what I extract from this campaign as a whole. Let your customers be part of the storytelling, because that is just so important. Okay, so that is all on the shot on iPhone campaign. Brilliant. If you got something from this, please subscribe, like the video. Next episode, we are going to be discussing Spotify Wrapped and how that campaign transformed Spotify as a business and what we can learn from that as well. So tune into that next time.